Good morning, good evening. Welcome to a Merage talk by the Merage Institute. Today we have Professor Adizes from Santa Barbara, who will talk to us about healthy companies, how and why. The stage is yours.
Thank you, Eli. Well, I'm doing this on the request of one of my best friends of 60 years, Leszek Ettinger, and his wife Etty, so I'm glad to comply with the request and to share with you my 50 years of experience consulting to companies all over the world, actually in 52 countries, and some of them from startups all the way to the largest on earth. And the subject is a healthy company, how and why. Why is it such an important subject, at least for me, and opened my eyes? Because as a student of economics and being a professor, you always say, what the purpose of an organization is to produce profits or return on investment, or when Keynes said it, in the long run, whatever that means. Then the next question is, how do we produce profits? And we have a lot of theories, marketing theory, strategic planning, how you make the profits, etc. One day, I was visiting my mother in Israel and telling her about all my success. I have 28 books in 36 languages, 21 honorary doctorates, and I wanted to make her so proud of me. And she's listening to me, nodding her head like a good mother. She took my hand in her hand, tapped on my hand and says, yes, my son, but how is your health? All at once I said, wait a moment. All these achievements I could not do if I was not healthy. So how do you produce profits in the short run, in the long run? By being healthy. If the organization is not healthy, it cannot produce the profits. Maybe it can produce in the short run something, like a meteor appears and disappears. And then I started asking myself the question, what does it mean to be healthy? If you want to have sustainable profits, what does it mean to be healthy? To make a long story short, because we have only 1 hour. And by the way, it's such a short time, 1 hour is really, at best, it's an intellectual striptease. But if you look at my website, and I hope you have my full name there by my spelling, you can find, I have 100 videos on YouTube, and I have 26 books in English on 36 languages, some of them in Hebrew. So you can learn more. Or if you want to know even more, Adizes Institute has an online program when we teach this methodology. And this methodology has been tested. What I'm going to tell you about organizational health, how to be and why to be, has been tested over 50 years in 52 countries, including Israel. Elbit has been Adizesized. We went from 150 million now to 4 billion. And many other companies, including all the countries around the world. So it's been tested and documented. So I'm not telling you something professorial imagined in the windowless room. What is it? What makes it, so why healthy? Because for sustainable long-term success, that's why. Whatever success is measured. For a business organization, success will be measured in profits. Return on investment, return of investment, increase in shareholders' value. And for a non-for-profit will be to achieving the non-for-profit goals. And for a country, and I've consulted to 8 prime ministers, including Shimon Peres. So a country also has a goal. Whatever the goal is, you better be healthy if you want to achieve the goal sustainably over time. So let's put the why aside. Let's go into the how. What I discovered in 50 years is that what makes an organization healthy is if it is effective and efficient in the short and the long run. And what does it mean to be effective? To satisfy client needs, whoever the client is. For a country, the client is a people. For a non-for-profit, the client is the purpose of the non-for-profit. For a business organization, ask yourself the question, who will cry if I die? That's my measurement. Who gives a shit? Who needs you? And I differentiate between client, customer, and stakeholders, which in the literature is a big confusion. For me, a client is who makes a decision to buy, not necessarily who consumes it. Who makes the decision? Not who pays. And the stakeholders are whom do you have to keep relatively happy so they continue giving you the resources you need to satisfy the client needs. So the focus is on the client. Client needs, who makes a decision to pay. And you can measure that. How do you measure it? Look at a restaurant. If the people don't come back to the restaurant, how good is the restaurant? Not very good. So the measurement that I use in my consulting practice is, what is the repeat sales? What percentage of sales are repeat sales? Are they coming back? If they're coming back, you mean that you're satisfying the need in a competitive market. And by the way, this applies not just to the CEO of the company. It applies to any manager in the company. Accounting has clients too. Who is a client? Who needs the information? It's not only the IRS. Other people inside the company need the information. Are you satisfying the need? And you can ask the clients, if you had a choice, that's why the competitive market is important here. If you had a choice, would you get the service outside or continue using the service from the inside? If they said, if I could only get out, oh my God, that means I'm not satisfying the need. Every manager must have a client that he identifies and knows what their needs are and asks themselves the question, will they come back if they had a choice? And that includes marriage. Will your spouse come back if she had a choice? She or he. And if they're stuck, you're not satisfying a need. Same thing for a country. How many people want to get into the country versus how many people want to get out of the country? It tells you how healthy the country is. Does it satisfy the needs of its population? And you have to do it efficiently. Because people are willing to pay a price to satisfy a need in a competitive market. And there is a cost to satisfying that need. If the cost of satisfying the need is less than the perceived value of that need, as measured by how much people are willing to pay, the difference is profit. So profit is not a dirty word. It measures adding value. You're adding value. You're satisfying a need at a less cost than the value of the need is. But that's good in the short run. Why? Because the needs change. The environment changes. So you need now to be effective in the long run. And what does it mean in the long run? You have to plan. Oops, what is planning? Planning is not what we are going to do tomorrow. That's called dreaming. Planning is what are we going to do today to get ready for tomorrow, so when tomorrow arrives, we are ready to satisfy that need. For that, you need to be creative and you have to be willing to take risk. It's called you must be willing to be an entrepreneurial in spirit. So the company has to be entrepreneurial in spirit. Look at the environment, think what is going to change, how do we prepare to take the change, and how do we take the risk to be able to satisfy that need in the future when the future arrives. Not good enough. To be efficient in the long run, we also have to be integrated. Why integration is important? Because when the company is not integrated, when there is a lot of internal fighting, there is a lot of wasted energy. And we know from physics that energy is fixed. So any energy that is being wasted on fighting is not available to fight the market. I had companies startup companies, where the technology was incredible. Patent, competitive advantage in technology. The market was dying for the product or for the service. And when you have a market and you have a technology, money will come. They will come and knock on your door and they want to give you the money. So they had money, marketed technology, and went bankrupt. How come? The parties were fighting. That's how come. And when you fight inside, your eyes go inside, they don't look outside. And you miss the opportunity. So you need internal integration, working together. Now let me tell you what internal integration means, which is the source of being healthy. Without integration, the first three roles, satisfying client needs efficiently, proactively, will not work. Why? Because energy is wasted on fighting. So integration is a platform on which everything else happens. It's the essence. What is it? Most important part of my presentation to you today. Most important part. Whenever there is change, there are problems. Why? Well, here's why. What is change? Something new is happening out there. New. That's why change. It's new. Now you have to decide what to do about it. And it's like coming to an intersection, and I have to decide, do I go left, do I go right, what do I do? Some people cannot make a decision. Say, I don't have enough information, too risky, let's wait. We are not going to make a decision. You just made a decision. You made a decision not to make a decision, to stay where you are. Not to go left, not to go right, not to go back, to stay where you are. And maybe it's a worse decision. Why? Even if you are on the right road, if you don't move, a truck might come and run you over. Why? You're not changing, but the world continues to change, my friend. The world is not saying, oh, if you don't change, we'll wait for you until you change. It continues changing. A truck will appear and run you over. So you have to decide, and maybe you decide not to change, but consciously, rather than say, I'm not deciding, which is denial. You have to decide in a situation of uncertainty. Why? Because you don't have all the information until it happens. You only know on Monday morning what happened on Sunday. You don't know on Sunday what's going to happen on Monday. And then there's the problem of implementation. You made a decision. Now when you implement, holy cow, there is risk. That's why when there is change, we say we have a problem. What should we do and how much risk can we take? So the more change, the more problems. So what? What causes these problems? Everything is a system. A company is a system. Every system is comprised of subsystems. Let's take a company. It has a marketing subsystem, sales subsystem, production subsystem, financial accounting subsystem, information system subsystem, human resources subsystem, many subsystems. What I discovered is that the subsystems do not advance in synchronicity at the same speed. Marketing changes fast. Well, but we need a new product line, and how do we advertise it? How do we price it? Okay, it will take some time to make a plan. How long does it take to change the sales effort? Retrain the salesmen, retrain the customers, takes a little bit longer, huh? How long does it take to change operations and production? Holy cow, that's why all the people in operations say, guys, slow down, goddammit, we cannot catch up. How long does it take to change the accounting system, the information system? You should live long enough. And how long does it take to change the human capital? Attitudes, climate, people. Wow. Now look what that means. Whenever there is change, there are gaps in the system called disintegration, manifested in what we call problems. all problems, whether you have a problems in personal life, whether you have a problems in your marriage, whether you have a problem in your company, whether you have a problem in a country, hello, Israel, are you hearing me? Comes from disintegration caused by change. So what do? Stop change in order not to have problems. And that's what some fanatic religions try to do. Some fanatic Orthodox Jews still live in the Middle Ages. Same thing with their fanatic Muslims, fanatic Christianity. They say stop change. Does it work? You're anachronistic. It does not work. You don't have a choice. We need to change. You don't have a choice. So we need to learn how to manage change. And how do we do that? Here is the bottom line. The bottom line. If everything, all problems are caused by change, manifested by causing disintegration, what's the solution? Real solution, not band-aid solution. Change the product, raise the price, give a discount, do more advertising, fire the president, have another president. These are all band-aids. The real solution, strategic solution, if all problems are caused by disintegration, what is the solution? Integration. Align the subsystems. Subsystems alignment. By the way, go to adizes.com website, you find out testimonials. A company by the name Wonderful that owns Fiji Water and 60% of the pistachio market, biggest farm in the United States. They went from $12 million sales to $4 billion sales. And the owner is still 100% owner. Organic growth. Look at the website. It says, thanks to the Adizes methodology. And when you ask him, what is the secret? He says, alignment. Because whenever you change, you start falling apart. The trick is not to fall apart as you change. Some of you probably are in fast-growing companies. Beware. Beware. I'm going to say it 3 times. Beware. No company should grow like this. Because if you grow like this, there is only one way, eventually, down. You will fall apart. You will fall apart. The question is only when. The franchisees will sue you, the licensees will sue you, the government will sue you, the clients will sue you. Something will happen. I don't know what, but something will happen. Quality of the product is no good. Something will happen. Look at another testimonial, because some of you are probably in high tech. Applied Material. When I started with them, there were 400 million. When I left, it's done 15 billion. What was the trick? Alignment, 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 alignment. Don't allow disalignment. How do you do that? How do you do that alignment? Ready? In order to manage change, you need to decide and to implement the decision. Here you have uncertainty, here you have risk. In order to make a good decision, you have to take into account the subsystems and to align them. The decision has to align them, right? Now look, big picture first. Then you go to the details, which I cannot because of time. I'm already... You have a subsystem that deals with effectiveness. A subsystem that deals with efficiency. Subsystem that should deal with the long-term effectiveness. Subsystem that should deal with the integration. Short-term effectiveness, who does that? Sales. They have to satisfy present client needs. Production, produce present client needs. Who takes care of efficiency? Accounting, human resources, the right people at the right jobs and the right compensation with the right whatever. Quality control. Who does the long-term effectiveness? Marketing. Looking at the long run. Where are we going? What's happening in the market? What's changing? What should we be doing? Strategic planning. New product development. R&D. Systems design, not help desk. System design in IT. Who does the integration? Excellent question. Most companies have nobody doing that. And they hire some consultant to do OD development. Don't have a short-term solution to a long-term problem. Because that's a long-term problem. Why? Because change is ongoing. You need to have somebody ongoing doing the integration. And that's Adizes Institute, if I can give you a commercial. We do that for the companies. Keep it continuously aligned, so you can grow from 12 million to 4 billion. So what do you need? Diversity. Diversity. A diversified organizational structure. In Adizes, we give a lot of emphasis to structure. For instance, do not have marketing reporting to sales. If I look at a company and say, VP for sales and marketing, thank you very much, done. Sick. Why? Marketing cannot report to sales. Marketing look in long run, sales look in short run. Sales will suffocate marketing. Then marketing, I call it transvestite. It looks like a woman. Take the skirt off, it's a man. What happened? They're doing sales support, cold marketing. They're not doing marketing. They cannot because sales dominates it. Don't put, God forbid, engineering under production. It's called engineering, but you know what they're doing? Maintenance. Why? Because they're serving the production. The long term is serving the short run. The long run dies. There's another thing that we insist on, which we usually don't succeed. We succeed to split sales from marketing. We succeed to split production from engineering or R&D. God forbid you have it all together. The one that we recommend, and we usually rarely succeed because they're very powerful, we cannot break them. We cannot break them. Split finance from accounting. Accounting looks from the past to the present. Finance should look present to the future. The finance is creative. Where do we get the money? Where do we invest the money? How do we manage the financial engineering, you can call it. Accounting is to be precise and conservative. So if you have the together, who wins? If financial orientation wins, you have very creative accounting, you don't know what the shit is going on. If you have an accountant, CPA, a controller on the top of finance, you will be liquid like fish. They will not let you use any money because they're conservative. Split. And split human resources development from human resources administration. And human resources development, outsource it. Because it's very difficult to integrate from the inside because you will get in crossfire of the political interest within the company. Structure is very important. Structure is to be good. You cannot have a short 5'2" guy playing basketball. The task calls for a tall guy. Diversity. Working together. So if you forget what I'm telling you, remember this symbol. You go to any church. And last week I went to a Baha'i place and I found out, no Baha'i, Bali place, sorry, from Bali. And they have a sculpture, you know, their gods stand like this too. India, they all stand like this too. What the hell is this? This is a Hamsa. What do you see? 4 fingers together. Do you see that? 4 different fingers together. What they're telling you, the saints, in all religions, be different together. Hello, Israel, do you hear me? Be different together. And in the Middle East, when we curse each other, God forbid, we do like this in the face. What does it tell you? Be different, not together. Now you waste all the energy. And you're dying. In America is also in problem. We are increasingly going this way. That's why America is on the decline. America is on the decline. We used to be different together. Live and let live. Not anymore. Next question. Why should they be together? And by the way, some political ideologies, religions, say we should be together, but not different. The same. Look at this. The same together. Communism, fascism, and fanatic religions. Inquisition. Present time Muslim, fanatic Muslims. If you're not a Muslim, we behead you. Middle Ages, if you're not Christian, we kick you out of Spain or put you in Inquisition. Communism, fascism. And what happens? Paralysis, that's what happens. Spain got paralyzed from the Middle Ages because they kicked the Jews out. Now they want them back. Because we need diversity. But why should we be together? Okay, be together. Why? Because there should be symbiosis. We benefit from being together. There's a benefit. I'm not just joining it because I'm in love. There's a benefit to joining. There's self-interest. But now watch it. I'm going to contribute to the system, believing that the system is going to give me back. Would you give money to a corrupt government? Would you pay taxes honestly in a corrupt government? Probably not. If they're corrupt, I will be corrupt too. But if you believe in the system and you benefit education and health and security and whatever, gladly I will pay my share. So, in order to have symbiosis, you need mutual trust. In order to have synergy and growthful diversity, you need mutual respect. I accept your differences. You don't have to be the same. So a healthy system is symbiotic and synergistic. Diversity that works together with mutual trust and respect. If there is no symbiosis, the human body will fall apart. If there is no synergy, it will not be growing. Same thing for a company. Same thing for a country. Same thing for a marriage. All systems. And what makes it symbiotic? Symbiotic and synergetic. What makes it synergetic is mutual respect. You don't have to be like me. You don't have to be the same. The kidney does not interfere with the heart, and the heart does not interfere with the lungs, and the lungs don't interfere with the whatever. Who interferes? Cancer. It does not have respect for the other organs. You have to be like me. You can call the cancer being a fascist, you know, or a communist, whatever it is. They want to monopolize the whole body, and in doing so, kill the body. Fanatic exclusivity is cancerous. You want diversity, which is growthful, synergetic, because it has mutual respect of differences. I respect your difference. You don't have to be like me. Live and let live. And for symbiosis, you need mutual trust. Why? I'm contributing to a system I trust. If I don't trust it, why the hell am I doing it? So what is a healthy company, my friends? A healthy company is one that has a culture of mutual trust and respect. Thank you very much. I think I finished my lecture. All the rest is commentary. Why did Yugoslavia, where I was born, I'm from Yugoslavia, I cry for that country that disappeared. What a beautiful country. What a beautiful diversity in music, in ethnic, in food. Gone. Why did not Switzerland disappear? Can you imagine French, Italian, and Germans together? I mean, they've been at each other's throat every war. What's the difference between Yugoslavia and Switzerland? A culture of mutual trust and respect. Why did that company I told you that had the market, had the technology, had the money go bankrupt? Because it had no mutual trust and respect. Or it didn't have a complementary team. Right now I'm consulting to some startup company in Israel, which I love dearly. They have the technology. Jesus, they have the technology. They have an incredible patent, really incredible. And the market is there. What's the problem? No complementary team. Chief technology officer, genius. Understands business, nada. He cannot raise any money because he is flying there. He talks to them with the technology, and the investor looks at him and says, I don't give money to this guy. He's a genius, but I don't trust him to manage my money. What do you need? Diversity, complementary team, complementary team. All the four roles have to be there. Somebody takes care of the short run, somebody of the long run, somebody of the integration, somebody of the long... It is a complementary team. You need a complementary structure composed of a complementary team working together. Diversity that complements each other, like a marriage. Look, whom did you marry? I promise you, you married somebody who complements you. You married somebody, you fell in love with somebody who is strong in what you're weak. That's why they drive you crazy. And what's the problem? You want them to be strong in what you are strong, but they cannot be, because what you are strong in, they are weak in. How can they be strong in what you are? Why you are not like me? Because I'm not you. Complementary team. Complementary structure, working with mutual trust and respect. That is a secret. What makes a company successful, what makes a country successful, is not the resources you have. What made America successful? What made America successful? Is not resources. Other countries have more. It's not size. Other countries maybe are bigger. What was it? Diversity with mutual trust and respect. And the moment America loses it, it's on its way down. It is on its way down. What destroys a marriage is not when you get divorced. You're thinking about the divorce much earlier than when you find the papers of divorce. When do you start thinking about the divorce? When you don't trust and you don't respect your partner. It's over. The biggest asset a company can have is an asset it cannot sell. Let me repeat it. The biggest asset a company can have, should have, can have, is what it cannot sell. You cannot sell your culture. You can buy, and I offer you the Adizes Institute services to do that for you if you're a CEO, because we always work with a CEO. We built a culture of mutual trust and respect. How? I'll give you the variables. Diversity based on mutual trust and respect. Mutual trust and respect is a function of: do you have common vision and values? If the partners have different vision and different values, there's going to be no mutual trust and respect in a marriage, in a company, in a country. We are different, but we have a common vision and we have common values. America has common values. That's what the Constitution is all about. America has a integration through the Constitution, not through individual, not a person that integrates, but a system of values documented in a Constitution. Israel does not have it. We don't have a constitution. We have the religious people saying one system of values, the secular people another system of values. It's okay to have left and right, but have a common vision, common mission, common values. I hope I have a lot of Israelis listening to me here. I cannot watch Israeli news. I have the channel at my home in Santa Barbara. Every night I want to watch it. I go crazy. You know why? Anytime they have a diyun, a discussion, I get crazy. They're shouting at each other. Nobody is listening. They're all interrupting each other and calling each other by name, including the Knesset. My God, the Knesset, how they call each other. There is no mutual respect. There is no mutual trust. Nada. This is not going to work. This is what the problem is. It's not going to work. Cannot work. Same thing with a marriage. Same thing with your own personal career. How much self-respect and trust do you have? It's called self-esteem. If you don't trust yourself, if you don't respect your own decisions, how the hell are you going to build a career? So you need common vision and values, 1. 2, you need a correctly diversified organizational structure. Correctly diversified organizational structure. I only gave you a little tip here and there. It's much more complicated than that. It's like architecture. It takes me 3 years to train people in the Adizes Institute to be certified to do organizational architecture. 3 years. Do it right. You're not just building a Shikuna Mamipo. You're trying to build the Taj Mahal. Next. A disciplined decision-making process. How to run goddamn meetings. What is the agenda? How correct, not the agenda. How do you correctly run a meeting? So that you avoid management by committee. Because you can have a diversified structure, diversified styles of people, but when they get together, you get a management by committee and it becomes a mess. Why? Because they are different, there is going to be conflict. And the conflict can become destructive. They interrupt each other, they get upset with each other, the voices get up, and that creates distrust and disrespect, and we are going south. So we have a whole, for instance, I'm sorry I'm doing this marketing, but how otherwise I tell you, so it's not just theory. We have a course, online or in person, how to run meetings correctly, how to run diversity to come to conclusions together and agree on a decision and feel good about it. So we capitalize on diversity. We don't reject diversity. We create a synergetic environment where we learn from each other by exchanging views and learning from each other. There is a whole methodology how you run a meeting correctly. So you need common vision and values, diversified structure, diversified team, managing meetings in a disciplined way based on mutual trust and respect. If you don't take the course, okay, I'll tell you what the bottom line is. Forbid anything in your company that causes disrespect and mistrust. And anything that encourages respect and trust, reward. That's it. You got the course. You can recreate the wheel if you want, or come and learn the wheel. We'll give you the wheel. Not good enough. So you have a vision, values, structure, decision-making process, and what else do you need? The right people. And what is the right people? It's not what you know, it's what you are. I was very impressed. There was an interview with Musk, Elon Musk, and asking what the biggest mistakes you did. He said, I paid too much attention to people's competencies, not enough about their personality and attitude. Bravo, Elon, you got it. What people know becomes obsolete over time. You can buy knowledge, guys. Only money. Personality, you cannot buy. Pay attention to what kind of a people are they. What does it mean? Do they command and grant respect and trust? Like in the Israeli Air Force, would you fly with them in your lahaka? Would you fly with them? Will you trust him to fly with you? Would you turn your back to them? Do you work with people you trust? And you respect. What does it mean? They know how to disagree without being disagreeable. Like a good wife. What is a good wife? A valiant wife in the Jewish religion. Ezer keneged. How can she be Ezer keneged? How can she be helpful if she's against? By being against, telling you where the holes in your argument, respectfully. If it's not done respectfully, if you have a spouse who pushes with a finger in your chest, you're doing it wrong, you never do it right, you don't know what you're doing, why didn't you do this? The hell with you. It's not helpful. You want somebody that does it lovingly, respectfully, exchanging. It has to be mutual. I learn from you, you learn from me. It's a personality. Make decisions with faith rather than from fear. So if you have the right people in the right structure, with a common vision, values, making decisions with a disciplined way that nourishes mutual trust and respect, you have a healthy organization. Bravo. You will sustainably successful. That has to be established. It does not happen by itself. Nothing good happens by itself, by the way. The bad things happen by themselves. Why? Because change is destructive by nature. You remember? It disintegrates. You don't have to do anything. Just do nothing. A friend of mine, his wife asked for a divorce. And he came to me, upset. He says, I don't know why she wants a divorce. I did not do anything. I say, schmuck, that's why she wants a divorce. Because you didn't do anything. You cannot rely on chuppah to be in love forever. Change happens. And things start getting separated. You have to bring them back again. You have to bring them back again. You have to bring them back again. It's work. You have to give it attention. And what do you pay attention to? What undermines trust and what undermines respect. Not only with your spouse, with the children. Grow children that have respect and trust, which unfortunately we are losing with the goddamn games and with the television, with all the, we are losing the kids. They're losing the kids. They're losing respect for their parents because they know more than the parents how to manage the TV and how to manage the telephone. I'm like an idiot. I say, Sean, what should I do? How do I do that? I'm the idiot and he's a genius now. My kid is a genius and I'm the idiot. And the whole thing is upside down now. Here is a formula of success. Formula of success, and then you have 15 minutes for questions. Success is a function of denominator, nominator, external integration, denominator, internal disintegration. Again, success of any system, marriage, person, company, country, is a function of external integration divided by internal disintegration. Let me explain. What is external integration? You know it. Strategic planning, marketing. And what is strategic planning and marketing? If you summarize all the books on strategic planning and marketing, and summarize the summary of the summary of the summary of the summary to get to the kernel of what is it all about, it's really integration. What are the opportunities in the market? What are the capabilities of the company? How do you bring them together? Finito. That's what strategic planning is all about. That's what marketing is about. What are we capable? What are the needs? And how do we match them? With the right product, with the right channel, with the right promotion, with the right support, with the right service, with the right uha muha buha. To bring together. External integration. For a country, it's called the balance of payments. How much we are exporting versus how much we are importing, and our economic strength versus the world market, uha muha buha. Same thing. Personal life is called career planning. What am I good at? What does the market want? And how do I match my capabilities to what the market wants? External integration. Internal disintegration is how much energy is being wasted on fights, on rumors, on backstabbing, on misunderstanding, on miscommunication, misalignment, wasted energy, which comes from lack of mutual trust and respect. Now, why does this formula predict success? Because we know from physics that energy is fixed at any point in time. What I found out is that fixed energy, first of all, goes to allocated to deal with internal disintegration. Takes a priority, naturally. And only the surplus left, if any left, goes for external integration. That's why the company told you that startup went bankrupt, because all the energy went to internal disintegration. They missed the market on the external integration. Adizes methodology for helping companies grow from 12 million to 4 billion is to minimize internal disintegration, common vision, values, the right organization structure, the right decision-making process, the right people. It reduces internal disintegration. The energy gets freed for external integration, and Kadima Poel. That is the whole secret. I just gave you the whole secret. Here it is. It explains personal success. You want people that are calmed down. They don't talk too much. Clear eyes. Peace here. Self-respect and trust. They're not afraid of people disagreeing with them. They're not afraid to disagree. Self-confidence, self-esteem. Show me a marriage, same thing. A family, same thing. Show me a company, same thing. Show me a country. And I told you, I work with 8 prime ministers. That's what I'm doing. And I did not succeed all the time. With companies we have, I don't want to be arrogant, 90% success, but we really have 100%. If they are committed. With countries, more difficult. Because politicians have a different reasons why they're in politics. So it's a little bit more difficult. Much more difficult. But the principles are the same. The theory is the same. The protocols are the same. adapt it to a company while they're on the life cycle. It's like medicine. So you decide you want 100 milligrams or 50 milligrams or 5 milligrams. We adapt the medicine to the company, so it's custom made. It's not the same treatment all, but the principles are the same. Any questions? We have 7 minutes for 1 or 2 questions. Bye-bye.
If you have questions, feel free either to open your mic and ask directly, or you can put it in the chat. Please don't be shy.
Because if there are no questions...
I have a quick question.
Okay, good. Who is this?
My name's Chuck.
Okay, Chuck, let me hear from you.
So in the context of, you have a startup company and you have the strong-willed members that don't know how to agree. What do you do to allow them to identify and see themselves for what they are? In other words, what tools do you use to help them see that they're not communicating?
When people disagree with them, that's good enough. When people don't understand what he's talking about. I just had one guy like this. Yeah, I called him type E, very creative. I mean, they fly 40,000 feet up there. They don't see the details down there. They jump from one subject to the other. I call them Trumpists. They like Trump. He jumps from one subject to the other, to the third, to the fifth, to the sixth. You cannot follow them. It's like Mercury. So people say, I don't understand what you're talking about.
Yes, but you talk about that you deliver tools and you develop.
Oh yeah, look. Okay, I'll give you if you're asking the tools, I'll tell you the tools. It's not to identify they're not communicating. It's better. The question should be, how do you make them communicate together when they're different? That's what you're asking me, right?
Sure.
Okay, look.
Well, no, it's one step before. I apologize. It is actually one step before. One of the problems is to get them to understand and see themselves from the outside. You have two strong people. One is the CEO that has okay, do you understand the question?
I think I understand. Look, some people are so arrogant, the piece went to their head, they know everything, and then they don't. By the way, it's called typical Israeli, seldom right, but never in doubt. They're never in doubt, but they're always, they're right. Never mind what you talk about it, they're right. Now, how the hell do you make them realize that maybe you can learn something, you schmuck? And I think, look, I ignore what they want. I make rules. And you don't want to follow my rules, hire somebody else. And the rules that I have, I'll tell you how. I tell them, I'll tell you the rules, you will understand the validity of the rules down the road. Right now, follow the rules. Give you the first example. We start meetings on time. Why? Because if you come late, you're showing disrespect. We are waiting for you, you schmuck. We cannot start the meeting. You think you're more important than we are. I was on the telephone. You think you have more important things that we do? We start on time. If you are late, you have to do push-ups in front of everyone. 1 push-up for every minute you're late. Or donate money to whatever donation you want. You must be on time. Period. Or if you're late more than 10 minutes, don't come to the meeting. Goodbye. Show respect. You have to stop on time the meeting. Why? Because maybe the guy has another meeting. Now you're prohibiting from going to the other meeting. Respect time. Start there. Next one. I have 8 steps of decision making. First step is, I call it the freeze. We start every meeting with 5 minutes. Asking everybody, how do you feel about the meeting we are going to have? Why? Because people come into hectic environment we live. From another meeting or from work to the meeting, the body is there, but the mind is not there. They're still where they're coming from. Now we cannot start the meeting because your mind is not here. So we start the first 5 minutes. How do you feel about the meeting we are going to have? So he has to bring his mind to where the body is. Then we start the next step. What accumulate? What are we talking about? And usually we get into something called definitions. What do you mean by the words you use? You would not believe, Chuck, how much communication problems there are because people have different definitions to the words. This guy comes from that company, budgeting was done that way. That guy comes from that budget. What do you mean by the word budgeting? You won't believe the discussion we have about budgets. Budgets are not forecasting. Budgets are not dreaming. What are budgets? So we define the words we use. In applied material, I spend a full day discussing what's a module. Everybody had different definition. And in Elbit, 30 years ago, you wouldn't believe it. We spent a day defining what is a systems engineer. And people say it does not exist. You know, it's electronic or mechanical or whatever. And one guy said, I'm resigning because you don't respect me that I'm a system engineer. What do you mean by the words you use? What is planning? What do you mean? So we accumulate and we define the words we use. I changed Bank of America in 1982, Chuck, just with that little trick. I asked them, what business are you in? They almost fired me. We are paying you so much money and you don't know what a bank is? They said, no, I don't. Tell me what is a bank. We take loans, we take savings, we pay, we give loans, we take money, the difference is ours. They say, you're dead. You are saving a loan company, you're dead. And we spent time defining what should the bank be. And we came to the conclusion it should be fee-based. Fee-based in today's world. And now we change it here. Financial services, fuck banking, financial services company. You have to define the words you use. After that, we accumulate. What are we talking about? What do you think we are talking about? What do you think is the problem? What do you think is the problem? What do you think is the problem? What do we think is the problem? We do patterns. Then we go, aha, I think the problem is. Do you agree? Questions, doubt, disagreements. Until we agree what the problem is. Okay, now what do we do about it? Criteria, what's a good decision? So there is a whole manual. That's what we spend 5 days teaching you. And I ignore what people want. Some people say, this is bullshit. I don't have time to sit in these goddamn meetings. Resign. But you're going to be a player of a team. As a team player, you have to play as a team and follow the rules. That's what you hired Adizes, to teach you the rules. Period. Do the rules. And if you do the rules, people say, wow, it's working. I know, schmuck, because there are rules. How do we work together? How can we work together if we don't have rules? There should be rules. All participative sports have rules. Even war has rules. The problem we are having today is that the terrorists do not follow the rules of war anymore. They have their own rules, and we don't know what those rules are. So that's why we're having a problem dealing with it. What are the rules? Rules of engagement. And we created the rules, 50 years of experience, created the rules. We teach the rules. I ignore what people want. I ignore that they are arrogant. I ignore that they have a piece in their head and know everything. Say, okay, just follow the rules. Just follow the rules and play the game. The rest will come by itself. I hope I answered you.
I think that if I needed to extrapolate, you said 3 things. You said, first of all, establish respect, which means listening to each other. The second thing is identify what each person thinks is the problem, and then bring it all together and discuss it together.
Force them to listen to each other. By the way, in the Adizes methodology, if you interrupt somebody when he's talking, push-ups. No interruptions. No interruptions. Because when they interrupt, it shows disrespect. I know better than you. Let me tell you where you are wrong. I didn't even finish but to say what I want to say. So all the rules are based to create respect and trust.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, guys, I think we are done. I encourage you to buy my books. I encourage you to take my courses. I encourage you to keep in touch. All the best. Toda rabba. Litraot. Bye.
Thank you so much for your time, Professor, and enlightening our talk. And thank you, people, for joining for this Merage talk. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye. All the best.
תודה, איצ'ה, תודה.
תודה. הנה לשק פה.
אהלן.
אוקיי, לשק. תודה רבה. ביי.
תודה רבה. להתראות כולם.
Sei gesund.
Sei gesund.